Major funding for NJTV News is provided in part by RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. NJM Insurance Group, serving the insurance needs of New Jersey residents and businesses for more than 100 years. And Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Tonight on NJTV News, the budget brawl.
The Democrats in the legislature pushed their budget proposal forward, while Governor Murphy stands by his threat to veto it.
A congressman says the president is holding immigrant children hostage as bargaining chips for an immigration deal.
If you see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, the law is you have to move over. And now there's a bill to try to strengthen that law.
And we have the saga of 3 healed seals heading back out to sea. Those stories and more next on NJTV News.
Live from the Agnes Varus NJTV studio at 2 Gateway Center in Newark, this is NJTV News with Mary Alice Williams.
Hello, thank you for joining us. Less than 2 weeks before the state must have a budget or shut the government down, the state's highest-ranking officials, Democrats all, are locking horns. Chief political correspondent Michael Aaron reports.
While the Senate Budget Committee was poised to pass a budget bill this afternoon, and the Assembly Budget Committee prepared to do the same, Governor Phil Murphy stood in the Trenton train station to underscore his budget's $242 million commitment to New Jersey Transit.
We can't have a one-shot or a two-shot infusion once every decade and expect to fund a safe and reliable mass transit system. We need long-term and sustainable revenues year over year to do so.
Murphy's complaint is that the legislature's budget relies on a temporary $800 million increase in the corporate business tax. It would sunset after 2 years. Murphy's version of the budget hikes taxes on million-dollar incomes instead of on business and doesn't go away.
This principle of sustainable year-in and year-out revenue is what I'm fighting for.
Murphy's chief antagonist on all this is his fellow Democrat Senate President Steve Sweeney. Sweeney says the governor is trying to dictate to the legislature.
It's not how it works around here. You know that, Michael. The legislature has a say in a budget. We want to work with him. We've done a great job, I think, working with him for the last 5 months. I think we did a great job on school funding with him. This is the one area where they won't negotiate, and it doesn't work that way.
A school funding reform bill did pass the Senate committee today. The Assembly committee was expected to follow suit. It aims at equalizing state aid to school districts that have grown or contracted. But Murphy said yesterday he won't sign a school funding bill until the budget is done. He's holding it as a bargaining chip. Meanwhile, the argument over which tax to raise has reached a stalemate. Murphy says hiking the corporate business tax will drive not just business owners away, but their thousands of employees as well. Sweeney's got a response to that.
People that are millionaires, when they move and they own their businesses, they normally like to live near their businesses. So the same argument he's making, I can make too.
The struggle between the two top Democrats in Trenton is seen now as personal. They each sound exasperated.
If you don't like my proposal, then come back with something else. That's a negotiation.
Am I a reasonable individual? Have I ever said, heck no, my way or the highway? Never.
The legislature is not going to accept my way, the highway. It's talking. We're not subservient.
Republicans say a pox on both your tax hikes.
Increasing taxes, especially in the ways these taxes are increasing now, will mean that whether it's this Amazon or the next Amazon, they won't come to the state of New Jersey.
Democrats say they have another 11 days before the June 30th constitutional deadline and predict they'll get a budget done and avoid a government shutdown.
The Senate President is very comfortable. He stands behind his revenue on the CBT, and the governor has every right to stand behind his revenue on the millionaire's tax. Hopefully we're going to find common ground. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I know the press would love to see a shutdown of all Democratic leaders. I think we're going to disappoint all of you. We're going to get there.
On that, Murphy agrees.
It's the 19th I remain optimistic we're going to figure this out.
The governor said today he stands by his threat of yesterday to veto the legislature's version of the budget if it gets to his desk. That has people here gaming out whether there are enough votes in the Senate and Assembly to override a gubernatorial veto. At the State House, I'm Michael Aaron, NJTV News.
You can see Michael's full interview with State Senate President Sweeney on our website, njtvnews.org. A South Jersey lawmaker expected to back the Assembly Speaker's budget has abruptly resigned after being arrested and charged with assault related to domestic violence. The Camden County Democratic Party chair says Arthur Barclay stepped down for health reasons. Democratic committee members in Barclay's district will pick his replacement to serve until a special election in November will determine who will serve the final year of Barclay's two-year term. The state's lawmakers have long grappled with how to pay for public worker pensions. Now there's a bill that would pad some lawmakers' pensions and have the taxpayers pick up the tab. Brianna Vernozzi is here with details. Breezy?
Mary Alice, this is a major reason why so many taxpayers and voters have become fed up with the legislature. The bill was introduced last week by Democratic Assemblyman John McKeon. Essentially, it allows a public official who's retired and receiving a pension from a previous job to request the pension from a newly elected position be counted toward the original. So, for example, person A retires as a school superintendent and begins collecting their pension payment. Then they decide to run for office and get elected as, say, an assembly member. This bill doesn't force them to re-enroll in the system. Re-enrollment means the person's pension payments are frozen from that previous job until they retire. And once they do retire under this bill, their pensions would be recalculated, taking into account their current salary and additional years of service. That matters because payments are calculated based on highest average salary you receive, and you receive a slightly higher percentage for each additional month of service. So the public employee can then receive a retroactive payment based on the difference between how much they already received in the pension benefits and how much they should have received with the new, more generous calculation. This all stems from a 2007 law that placed newly elected officials in a less generous 401k-style defined contribution account instead of the public pension. Under that law, anyone who changed elected office after 2007 had their pensions frozen in place and were put in the 401k account. We probably don't have to remind you that New Jersey's pension fund is considered the worst funded in the country, and this could also affect the number of people who are qualified for lifetime retirement benefits because their years of service would now be increased. Though advocates say it only affects a handful of people, so it wouldn't push the needle on the system. As of today, though, the bill has yet to go before the Budget Committee for a vote. Mary Alice?
Okay, thank you, Brianna. Underfunding of pensions is weighing on New Jersey's credit rating. Here with all the day's business news is Rhonda Schaffler. Rhonda?
Mary Alice, here is something lawmakers and the governor can keep in mind as they continue to disagree how to proceed with the new state budget. Fitch Ratings Agency says New Jersey is one of just 3 states entering the new fiscal year with a lower investment grade rating than most other states. In a new report from the credit rating agency, Fitch said New Jersey's financial operations are characterized by sizable spending pressures and a structural budget imbalance in the form of persistently inadequate contributions for liabilities. Fitch also noted New Jersey does not maintain a rainy day fund, limiting its flexibility in periods of downturns. Also today, Fitch offered a mixed review of Stockton University. Fitch downgraded its ratings on bonds issued on behalf of Stockton, saying the university has a high debt burden, which is currently limiting its financial flexibility. But Fitch did upgrade its overall rating outlook on Stockton to stable from negative and said there are some positives, such as increased enrollment. There's an effort underway to create a business hub near Atlantic City International Airport. Legislative committees have approved a bill that would create a Garden State growth zone near the airport, according to Press of Atlantic City. The bill would offer tax incentives to businesses seeking to relocate within 1 mile of the airport. That area would include the Stockton Aviation Research and Technology Park, which is currently under construction. Lawmakers are hoping the bill will help attract out-of-state businesses to the region. Elsewhere, New Jersey's newest medical marijuana dispensary is open for business. The Harmony Foundation in Secaucus is now the 6th treatment center dispensing medical marijuana in the state. The state Department of Health says New Jersey's medical marijuana program is growing at a rate of 100 patients a day, bringing the total number of participants to over 23,000. The state's other dispensaries are located in Montclair, Woodbridge, Cranberry, Egg Harbor, and Belmar, Camden County. On Wall Street, stocks sold off on escalating fears about a trade war with China. The Dow fell 287 points, and today's losses erase all of the Dow's gain for this year. And those are your top business stories.
Support for the Business Report is provided by Atlantic City Electric, an Exelon company, connecting communities and powering southern New Jersey.
Calling the Trump administration's immigration policy inhumane and cruel, Governor Murphy has signed an executive order to, quote, prevent any state resources from being used to help federal authorities separate families. And State Attorney General Grewal has joined 20 other attorneys general in a letter to U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions and the Homeland Security Secretary opposing the zero-tolerance policy of jailing immigrant parents who've been detained at border crossings, even parents seeking asylum, and forcibly separating their children, calling the policy contrary to American values and demanding it be halted. Congress has scheduled votes on 2 immigration bills this week. Representative Frank Pallone gave his views on the measures to senior correspondent David Cruz.
All right, Congressman, so you made this unannounced visit to the detention center in Elizabeth, and then things went kind of downhill from there, no?
Well, the problem is, I mean, really 2 points I wanted to make after we visited with some of the guys that were detained, or fathers, if you will, that were detained. First of all, in most cases, they're coming here because they or their children are being persecuted. In other words, one guy was a fisherman.
In their native country.
In their native country, which, you know, is, most of them were from Central America. Mm-hmm. And, you know, one guy was a fisherman whose business partner was murdered. Another guy was a military, you know, a soldier who was targeted by the drug cartel.
Did you get a chance to talk to these guys?
Well, that's all we did. In other words, we weren't there to inspect the facility. Yeah. We were there because we had permission from 5 men. This is an adult men's facility. To talk to them about their stories of how they had been separated from their children, or in one case from a 7-year-old younger brother who he brought over the border because of the policy of the Trump administration, which now says that when someone comes over the border with a children or a young sibling, they're going to take them from them. And that's what they talked about, how, you know, they came here to escape murder, rape, whatever violence, and when they got to the border, their kids, in 2 cases daughters, in 1 case a 7-year-old younger brother, were taken, and they have no idea where they are, or they have some guess about where they are, but they have no communications with them. See, the problem is that President Trump is doing 2 things. One, he's changing the definition of political asylum, so it virtually cannot, you cannot become a political asylee unless you're personally attacked. You know, violence is committed against you. It can't be the fear of it or the fact that it happened to your brother or your business partner. So then the second thing, if you will, is that he's adopted the separation of families policy, so the kids are separated from their parents, but there's no procedure for them to have any interaction, so they don't know where they are and they can't communicate with them.
We saw this video of you all trying to get in.
Yes.
Were you barred from getting in, or eventually did you get in?
Well, we got there 9 o'clock. We had written consent from the detainees and their attorneys. In each case, we showed up just like we would any other relative or friend, and they were letting people in. but they wouldn't let us in, obviously, because we were members of Congress, and they thought, in my opinion, that we were going to find out something they didn't want to show us. Now, I don't know that they had anything to hide, but obviously they thought they did. And so they said, well, you can't come in until the ICE people get here, because this is a privately run facility, a private contract. So we waited, and 2 hours later, the ICE people came, and then they let us in. But there was no reason that we couldn't get in at 9 o'clock, because all we were doing was interviewing and talking to the people. We weren't inspecting the facility. We didn't get any tour or anything.
Some of your Republican colleagues are going to be meeting with the president today, and they're talking about pushing some legislation through. Have you seen it? And is there anything in there, including paying for the construction of a border wall, that you would support?
Well, understand that this policy of separation of children has been put in place by the president himself. There's nothing under the law that says he needs to do that, right? So what he's now doing, in my opinion, is he's trying to use that as a bargaining chip and saying, well, I'll rescind that if you vote for this bad bill that restricts immigration, right? In other words, he's saying, well, we're going to correct the status of the dreamers, the kids that have, that are mostly adults now and have been here for years, and we don't want them deported. But he's only going to do that if we restrict the definition of political asylum, if we restrict families, your ability to bring your brother or sister, your grandparents, if we cut back on work visas. And, it's just basically holding the kids hostage. And I can't accept that, and I don't think anybody, Democrat or Republican, should.
You talked about DACA, this border wall, all of these issues. It seems like the Gang of Eight was 20 years ago, Is there going to be a solution to this in this administration?
I think that this, the opposition to the separation of children's policy is building to a crescendo, and there are a lot of Republicans that are opposed to it too. So hopefully the president just rescinds it. Now, as far as the Dreamers are concerned, yes, we want to correct their status, and we want them to be able to have a pathway to citizenship. But again, the only reason that they're now threatened with deportation is because the President Trump issued an executive order saying that. Otherwise, they would have been here and it would have been fine. So what you have to understand is you can't just keep saying, as the president does, well, I'm going to do all these bad things, and then I want you to do something in return in order for me to help these people. This is a humanitarian crisis that he has created. Why is he holding dreamers or children hostage? Just do the right thing. Get rid of your executive order that says the dreamers can't stay here. You want some kind of legislation that provides a pathway to citizenship, we'll do it. But that has nothing to do with the status of the dreamers or particularly these kids. He's the one that's stopping it.
All right, I got to leave it there. Congressman, Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Sure.
We reached out to members of the state's Republican delegation in Congress for their positions on the separation of parents from their children at the border, and were referred to either previous statements they'd made or previous news coverage reported. Representative Tom MacArthur said the separation of children from their fathers and mothers must stop immediately. Representative Frank LoBiondo said one of the bills includes specific provision to prevent separation of parents and children at the border. I support this provision. Representative Chris Smith said without delay, Congress must pass legislation to permanently prohibit the egregious practice of family separation. Representative Leonard Lance said, I oppose the zero-tolerance policy and call on the president to end it. Representative Frelinghuysen gave us this statement today. He said, I oppose the cruel zero-tolerance policy that is separating children from their parents near the southern border. Until a humane solution is developed, this policy should be suspended. Representative Leonard Lance will join us right here on Thursday. Anyone who's driven on any New Jersey highway has likely seen the signs. Move over when you see stopped emergency vehicles. It's the law. Leah Mishkin met a mother who's compelled to spread the word.
Watch what happens to this officer after he approaches a car on the side of the highway. This next video we're about to show you is hard to watch, but the officer does survive the crash. Donna Sotero says these are some of the videos she shows high school students to teach them the importance of the move over law.
And you don't realize how dangerous it is for them to just get out of the car.
The law is simple. If you see an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, you have to switch lanes if possible. If not, you have to slow down.
And it is a law in every state of the United States except for Washington, D.C.
She approached state police to put the program together because her son, Mark Castellano, was killed in the line of duty in 2010.
He was on the side of the road, and it was a young man who failed to slow down and move over and failed to get off the exit, ended up in the shoulder, and ended up hitting Mark. We knew something was very serious when we pulled into Jersey Shore Medical Center and realized that the whole parking lot was filled with officers' cars.
Mark died just a few weeks before his 30th birthday. He was married to his high school sweetheart and a father of 2.
52 of the 1,300 plus law enforcement deaths since 2010 when Mark was killed are as a result of officers being struck and killed on our nation's highways.
Assembly members Eric Houdeling and Joanne Downey are sponsoring a bill that's in committee to strengthen move-over law in the state. Right now, the fine is between $100 and $500. They want it changed so a driver will receive points on their license if they violate the law.
And we find that if you put these points on, we're hoping that that'll be more of a deterrent.
When they mail out for your new license, if they include that information in there about the move over law, 2 points to assess your license, you know, like what Joanne said, eventually these points add up to your insurance, surcharges and things like that. It could be very, very expensive, but we really just want everybody to be safe on the side of the road.
The president of the New Jersey State Troopers Union says he worked with Donna Sotero's son.
Mark was probably one of the most dedicated troopers that I worked with.
And his mom is continuing that legacy. She has already reached her goal of teaching over 100,000 people about the move over law.
And I'm hoping that he realizes and knows that I'm trying to save the lives of the people that he worked with and loved so much.
Troopers call her the guardian angel of first responders in New Jersey. In Asbury Park, Leah Mishkin, NJTV News.
Promising cancer treatments top tonight's Garden State Express. Our first stop, Hamilton, where Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital has completed an $8.5 million expansion of its cancer center, unveiling what they're calling the newest and most precise technology in the state. It includes new PET-CT technology to investigate cancer cells, stage cancer tumors, and plan radiation treatment. The TrueBeam Linear Accelerator is designed to make radiation more precise. They say the state-of-the-art advances in medical radiation and surgical oncology allows RWJ-Barnabas Health and the Rutgers Cancer Institute of New Jersey to put a cure within reach for patients throughout the state. Next is Sandy Hook, where marine biologists from the Marine Mammal Stranding Center have released 3 small rehabilitated gray seals back into the wild. They'd been brought to the center in Brigantine, one with a fishing net cutting into its neck, the other 2 with fin infections. The 2 females and a male were nursed back to health, now given their freedom at the Gateway National Recreation Area. One turned back for one more look at his lifesavers before taking off. Finally, Trenton celebrating the bog turtle, the state's first ever official reptile. The state listed the rare and elusive palm-sized creature as endangered in 1974. The federal government put it on the threatened list in 1997. Bowing to the hard work of elementary school kids, Governor Murphy has signed legislation to hike the turtle's profile and bring awareness to its plight. The Department of Environmental Protection estimates there are fewer than 2,000 of the turtles left in the state, trying to survive loss of their spring-fed fens, bogs, swamps, marshy meadows, and muddy habitats due to invasive plant species and human development. And that's the Garden State Express for Tuesday, June 19th. Something up in your neighborhood? Tip us off. The Boss came back and turned in a great show at the Shore to celebrate the reopening of the iconic Asbury Lanes music venue. Now newer, bigger, and for last night at least, Bruce Springsteen made it better, singing classics like Rockin' Pneumonia and the Boogie Woogie Flu with the Tangiers Blues Band, and the crowd went wild.
I walk down the boardwalk now, I feel like the ghost of Christmas past, but that's okay. Because it's fun to watch Asbury's future unfold in front of me. So I hope you have a great time tonight.
And now some noteworthy facts that help you know Jersey. Bruce Springsteen first played the Stone Pony in Asbury Park on September 8th, 1974. New Jersey's corporate business tax is currently 9%. Governor Murphy's proposed budget includes $60 million in revenue from recreational, not yet legal marijuana. And Sandy Hook is one of New Jersey's 12 national parks. If there's someone who you'd like to get to know Jersey, share. Use hashtag #NoJersey. Tomorrow on NJTV News, could legalized sports betting turn some sports fans into gambling addicts? To share any story you've seen tonight, go to njtvnews.org. I'm Mary Alice Williams. For all the men and women of NJTV News, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
The members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child. And PSE&G, we make things work for communities.
Have some water.
Look at these kids.
There, how are you?
What do you see? I see myself. I became an ESL teacher to give my students what I wanted when I came to this country. The opportunity to learn, to dream, to achieve, a chance to belong and to be an American. My name is Julia Toriani Crompton, and I'm proud to be an NJEA member.